Welcome back to Boring Gear Reviews. This week we've got the brand new Tark 144 from Tark Audio. Thanks so much to Mark from Tark Audio for sending me the 144. So at a glance, the Tark 144 is a distortion pedal. In actuality, it's a faithful replica of a vintage tape machine channel strip, featuring a JFET preamp and an active tone control. So to get the obvious thing out of the way, there is a working VU meter on this pedal. And just like any piece of gear with a VU meter, it is very satisfying to see the needle move around based on your input signal. So for controls, we have volume, which will set the output of the pedal while it's on. The trim knob will set the gain of the JFET preamp. And here you'll go from basically a clean boost to a dirty boost to full out distortion. And then this last bit from 9 to 10 on the trim knob will go almost like kind of searing fuzz distortion. It's really impressive. And then we have bass and treble controls, obviously down for less, up for more. And then we get to the switches. So these switches are really kind of the heart of the pedal. On top, we have an input, and you can switch between a high and low impedance. And this greatly changes the characteristics of the signal and also interacts with the trim knob quite differently. And on the bottom, we have a switch to toggle on or off the tape emulation. So with it off, you get a much kind of clearer, stable, more consistent sound. And then when you turn it up, you get a beautifully degraded, a little bit crunchy and crumbly aspect to the signal. For today's demo, I'm using my 2013 Gibson Les Paul Traditional, and this has Sun Bear 59 PAF pickups. As always, that will be going into my UAD Apollo X6, and I'll be using the Softtube JMP 2203 amp sim. All right, so for this first clip, we're gonna have the low impedance setting and the tape emulation on. From there, we're gonna have the volume at 5. Oh, so I'm not using the clock kind of positioning here. These knobs have numbers, so I'll be using those instead. So the volume will be at 5, and we're gonna have the trim just before it gets really gnarly. So it's gonna be around 8. We're gonna have the bass just a little positive of 0, and the treble just a bit past 4. And we'll be pairing that with the Death by Audio Echo Dream 2. If you'd like to see a full demo of the Echo Dream 2, click the link right here. And this will be providing just a bit of nice kind of chewy delay under everything else. When I started recording on my own, I started playing guitar in like 94, I think April of 94. And my best friends growing up, their dad was a musician in the 70s. And so towards the late 90s, he had helped us record a record. And we converted the house, his house, their house, into a recording studio, full on, machines and cables and drapes and sound baffling everywhere. And we recorded a record on reel to reel. Great experience, really wonderful. When I started recording on my own, this was 2000, I had a Tascam 414. It's a classic cassette 4-track recorder from Tascam. I still have it, actually. And there is a quality that when you record direct into a tape machine that I hadn't heard really since. And this not only does it does it better than that did. So there's a punchiness and a crunchiness to the tone here that I'm obsessed with, really, really obsessed with. Spoiler alert, this might be one of the best drive pedals I've ever heard. It's super warm, really chewy. The way it pairs with the kind of lo-fi degradation of the Echo Dream 2 is outstanding. Yeah, I mean, I can go on and on about it, but enjoy. In this next clip, we are going to use it to create, in my opinion and my experience, the best clean guitar sound ever. For me, when I want a clean guitar, I don't want crystal clean. I want the qualities that a completely clean guitar has, which is very kind of woody and an acoustic aspect, even in an electric guitar. But I don't want just clean guitar. I want a little bit of grime, a little bit of dirt, a little bit of breakup, but I don't want that to sound like distortion. I know I'm kind of talking in circles here, but I feel like that's any great tone is going to be a little convoluted in your explanation because it's going to touch on so many things, and some of those things are contradictory. So we're going to max the volume, so most of the drive will be coming from there. We're going to have the impedance to high, and this also gives like a bit clearer, more sparkly high end than the low setting. The trim will be at 3, we're going to do the bass at 2 and the treble at 6, and the tape emulation will be off. We will be pairing that with the Chase Bliss Audio and Mara CXM 1978, and this will be kind of like a moderately modulated plate reverb. This is incredibly articulate and dynamic. You can hear the pick scrape across the string to start the attack of the note, and then this beautiful bloom follows. Obviously, the more you dig in, kind of the greater that crunch will be, but it just sounds like everything I want in a clean tone. It's really warm, really punchy, very clear. I don't know. I'm already off to a start of potentially being accused of like nonstop hyperbole, but I promise you, this pedal's that good. All right, in this last clip, we're gonna get a little more hairy with the Tark 144. So we're gonna have the volume at 5, we're gonna keep the impedance in the high setting, we're gonna max out the trim. So like I said, there's a spot here where, you know, when you're at like 8.5 on the high impedance, it'll be a distortion. It sounds great, you know, great, beautiful JFET crunch and gain. And then this last section from 9 to 10, it's red on the pedal, it really saturates hard. If you've been watching my videos for a while, you'll know I often describe drive pedals that I love as dry. There's like a dryness, kind of like a flat, punchy amp-like quality. There's an opposite to that I love, where it's super wet. It's just dripping saturation everywhere. And this is that. This is that like times a million. We're gonna have the bass at +4. The dynamics, so the tape emulation will be on. And then we're gonna drop the treble to about -2. And we're gonna keep the CXM 1978 here. Here we're gonna have like a large hall reverb. And yeah, and you'll hear the difference of pickups here and my pick attack and the volume differences, but just know that this is unbelievable. Enjoy. And that'll do it for the 144 from Tark Audio. Obviously, I'm really in love with this pedal. This is a must-have, like a mainstay forever. There are a lot of unique drive pedals. And what determines one being unique or not, or different from another, are like a lot of small changes. And as I state on this channel all the time, I have no idea how any of this stuff works. But what I do know is that this sounds and feels incredible. It's really what I'm looking for. The aesthetic is gorgeous. It feels great in your hand. You know, if you've seen the other Tark videos I've done, links right here, you'll know that his stuff is outstanding. Really interesting takes and approaches to effects that you love. And this is no exception. Like I said, this is a must-have for me. You should get it. Just go get it. And yeah, that'll do it. If you dig the content, please consider hitting that like and subscribe and notification bell so you get notified every time I release a new video, which is every week. And as always, links for everything I'm using will be in the description below, including my Bandcamp, where I release all of just the music parts of these videos, and also to my music project that I do, Grey House. All the streaming links and download stuff will be there too. Thank you all so much for watching. I really appreciate it, and I'll see you next week. Peace.